and I think you guys will like this one. Another iPhone mod, this time how to make your older iPhone more valuable than it is, but not really. Okay, so put yourself into this situation. Say you have an older iPhone 6, 6S, or iPhone 7, but you want it to look like an iPhone 8. How do you get people to believe that? I mean, there's really only one way, and that's to buy an iPhone 8, right? Nope. In this video, I'm going to show you guys how to turn your iPhone 6, 6S, or 7 into an iPhone 8, actually a physical model look. So using a pretty simple kit that's also pretty dang affordable, a lot cheaper than buying a new iPhone 8, I'm going to show you guys how to do just that. Turn your old iPhone into a new one. Now this obviously won't give you all the software features and the speed, but looks wise you'll pretty much be there. If you really look back, not much has changed between the generations. It's the overall same design, just small little tweaks here and there, and for whatever reason these kits seem to be pretty prevalent in China, where people would rather swap their old housing than actually buy the new phone. Save a lot of money that way, I guess. But anyways, if you guys remember my old iPhone 6s 10 version, the iPhone 10ified 6s, I mean, it's pretty good, right? I can hardly tell which one I'm holding half the time. Okay, not really, but the new iPhone 8 conversion kits is actually going to look a lot better than this. The iPhone 6s version just didn't really work that well because as soon as you saw the front of the phone, you obviously know it's a fake. With this one, it's a lot harder to tell that it is fake, especially because I think everything does match up pretty well. But anyways, I want to go ahead and unbox this and show you guys the actual quality. Now there are two versions. For one, you can do this on an iPhone 6, 6s, or 7, or you can do this on the iPhone 6 Plus, 6s Plus, and 7 Plus version. This one that I'm opening first, this is the iPhone 7, so I'm going to go ahead and take a look inside, and this is the silver color, or I meant the iPhone 8. So inside, this is what you're going to get, basically an empty housing. You get some battery stickers in there as well and all the necessary buttons, basically everything you need to perform this swap. And I believe this was around $20, so pretty dang cheap. First thing that I noticed actually is the color is very accurate to the silver. I don't really like the silver iPhone, but it is very true to its nature. It definitely looks a lot cleaner than the old iPhone 6. It does have a glass back and it doesn't have the FCC labels or the antenna bands, so it does look a lot cleaner, although you do not get wireless charging with it. Actually comparing it to the iPhone 8 shell, the text is off here, but this is an older version that I did order about a month ago, so they did update it since then. I did recheck the listing. The lens itself looks pretty good. It's a little bit bigger than the iPhone 6s one, and the band of the camera lens does match the band of the phone, so I like that contrast there. It's a very well made shell. It does look good. The colors match pretty well. And this is the iPhone 6s to iPhone 8 version. Unfortunately, it does remove your headphone jack as well. I don't understand why they would do that. You would think that they would keep it, but no. Just like the iPhone 10 version, that removes it as well. So let me get the iPhone 6s Plus version to 8 Plus out. All right, and here's this one. Maybe this one is a little bit better. This is the gold color. Let's give us an idea of how they compare that. Oh, wow. Yeah, that actually looks much better than the silver version. So in comparison with the real deal, they really nailed the color here. It's a little bit darker, just a tad bit. Oh my gosh, that is really good. I'm surprised. So there is the 6s Plus version. As you can see, they got the colors right. That actually looks pretty dang good. And from a distance, I would not be able to tell the difference. The text here, and I believe they did update this. So when I bought this thing originally, it was, about a month ago. So since then, I'm sure they got it right. I was looking at the listings and the text looks better. So, if you guys are going to be ordering one, I'm more than positive that they did fix that. That's my only complaints right now, but that looks pretty dang spot on. The colors, the way it glistens, Apple actually has a special layer just to make it shinier on the iPhone 10. On the 8 Plus, they don't have that, so it's easier for manufacturers to copy the look of it. But dang, that looks really, really good. Unfortunately, it doesn't have a headphone jack. I don't understand that. I want to do this, but I want to keep my headphone jack as well. Why do they make you change it? That's ridiculous. So aside from the fact that it doesn't have a headphone jack, I would recommend this. There it is. So I'm going to go ahead and get my 6s Plus ready because I will be doing this to my 6s Plus. I'm not really liking the standard one in this color. I would have preferred a gold. But otherwise, I'm ready to go ahead and start doing this. All right, and here is my victim. Willing enable the iPhone 6s Plus that's going to be transferring its soul and body into the embodiment of an iPhone 8 Plus. and it actually looks pretty dang good. So let's go down the checklist of things you will need. Of course, I would recommend the mats for all the screws. For something this extensive, you probably will need one of these, although the iPhone 6s is probably one of the easier phones to work on because it doesn't really have a waterproofing seal. It has a mild one that's easy to replace. Of course, do buy that waterproofing seal to replace it with. You'll need the battery stickers. These were provided in the shell packaging, as well as all of your buttons and stuff, which was also provided, and some tools which were provided, but I'm going to use my own because I like these a little bit better. Obviously easier to work with here. All right, going to start with the pentalobe screws on the bottom, and I'm just going to run down the biggest points. Again, people that are new to this and you guys want to be doing this, on the bottom just do these 2 screws here. I'm actually kind of excited to see how this will turn out. This will give my iPhone 6s new life. It's an older design, but it's pretty much the same thing. It's kind of crazy to think that Apple hasn't changed the design of these in so long. They've mostly been recycling the same design, that way saving money, R&D hours, all stuff like that. I definitely wouldn't say this is too difficult. I've been doing it for the longest time, for many shell swaps already. It does get easier with time, of course, but even from a first time standpoint, I wouldn't say it's all that difficult. It's very rewarding. It's great to see what's on the inside of an iPhone, work on it yourself. Oh my gosh, every single time I forget, by the way. Turn your iPhone off. You don't want to have it on while you're doing this. Okay, go ahead and fold it upwards and release the 5 Phillips screws over here with the plates, so that way we can loosen the display. All right, so once you've got those loosened up, go ahead and remove the plates. And then go ahead and unplug all of the connectors gently. Once you've separated the display, leave that aside. We won't be needing that. And now we just want to go ahead and start transferring over all of the internals. So I'm going to start with the battery. You want to remove that, the logic board, make sure the SIM card tool is ejected. And I'll be just mentioning some of the bigger points right away. So I want to remove the plates for the battery, get that out of the way as soon as possible, so that way you don't create a short circuit on accident. And the connector for the battery. You can go ahead and start stripping it down. We're gonna start with the camera, so remove the top left screw and the one on the right here. You want to eject the SIM card, so that way it's not in our way when removing the logic board. And next up, the NFC bracket up here, little tiny one. This little bracket up here to the top left. We're gonna disconnect the 2 cellular antenna radios, so there's one right here. All right, get that one out of the way, and the little tiny one right here. All right, those are both unplugged, and we're gonna have one little one over here right down by the speaker. All right, all of these cellular antennas unplugged. All right, unhook that antenna cable, and on the back there's gonna be a connection you want to unplug, just like that. Otherwise, there's our logic board. So that's one of the most difficult parts. We went ahead and removed that. So all that's left is the battery and all the other connectors. So I'm just going to gloss over this part real quick. We want to remove this whole flex cable portion down here, the lightning connector, and immediately swap it over to the new shell. So that way we can start reversing our actions right away. Alrighty guys, that was a tough one. The Plus models are certainly harder to modify than the other standard ones. So if you have an iPhone 6, 6S, 7, not a Plus version, I would probably recommend this more than just the standard version. Not to mention that you wouldn't have to deal with this dual lens camera garbage. Anyways, so before I close it up, I want to power it on, make sure everything is working, but otherwise the swap is complete. Took a dang while, that's for sure. All right, so I'm gonna pop everything back into place, and everything was successful. Here is the finished product. So from the front, obviously you can't tell. The color is just a little bit different. It's not quite rose gold. It's a blend between gold and rose gold. So that's one of the major advantages you get here. But on the back, you do get this actual glass back, and it does look like an iPhone 8. That's the goal, and it has been accomplished here. So the one thing is the camera lens. As you can see, the flash is poking through there, so you don't get that second lens look. That's the only thing that kind of distinguishes this from a real 8 Plus. Also the text, but they did fix it, remember, in the latest version, so that shouldn't be an issue. Otherwise, I have to say it looks really dang good. I mean, the color is there, the finish is there. It's very, very similar. I feel like it's just maybe a smidge thicker. No, must be just a feeling. It's pretty much the same. You do get the bottom too, so you lose your headphone jack functionality, but again, I will leave a link where you can find one with the headphone jack. Otherwise, I'd have to say it looks pretty dang good. I like the fact that they copy the color so accurately, and the finish is very nice. It gives your old iPhone a much more premium feeling now. Of course, it's not going to fool the trained eye with this, but it's pretty close, and the flash unit looks a little fishy there as well. Otherwise, that is the 8 Plus conversion. I definitely would recommend that you guys use the 8 as well over the Plus version, even because you don't have to deal with the other cameras. It still looks pretty good, especially with the gold color. If you get it in that, it follows the finish very accurately. It's pretty dang close, so I like that. It's a very nice conversion. I'd have to say this definitely is much more recommended than the iPhone 10 version. As you can see, there's the color difference from the old one. So pretty dang cool, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. It's definitely pretty tough to do, but I would say worth it. If you guys don't really care about your old phone, you were going to upgrade it anyway, but decided to stick with it. But